Hi, my name is Julie, and in mid-December, I started to lose my vision, and I didn't know what was going on. Well, I guess, first of all, I'm 45 years old, so, multiple sclerosis is usually, I think, a young person's disease. But this is just happening to me. Which might be a good thing. But yeah, it started with, as many of you know, optic neuritis. I was losing my vision, and I went to my eye doctor, and he tested my vision, and my prescription had changed, which is not normal for optic neuritis. So, it's that. Normally, vision is different from prescription, from what the neuro-ophthalmologist explained. So even though I had lost my vision, my prescription shouldn't have changed. But it has changed a lot. And it kept changing. I went back to him a couple months later, and he said it had changed a lot. So I, mid-December, had an MRI and was diagnosed with optic neuritis, and the very same day with multiple sclerosis. My doctor called me and delivered the news, and I mean, if you've been through this, you know, I was in shock. Normally, I love my doctor to pieces. I love her, and she's been my doctor for a really long time, since I was 32, maybe 31. We're about the same age. I normally can be I'm just very sweet with her. I love her to pieces. She is a loving doctor who gives me hugs. Like, who wouldn't want a doctor like that? She's amazing. Sometimes I forget to, that she's my doctor and just call her by her first name. I call her Catherine. So it's been quite a ride. Now, when I started to lose my vision, I was under a tremendous amount of stress in my personal life. And that's what we believe brought on the optic neuritis. It took me a while to get that out of my life, that stress. I had some personal things to work through, and it was not easy. But once I got those things out of my life, then my vision did start to come back. But I still feel that optic nerve, like, it goes, you feel it, like, the neuro-ophthalmologist told me, he said that most people say it's the worst pain they've ever felt, and I was like, no. I mean, I've had fibromyalgia since July 4th, 2004. So, I understand pain. I have had a long relationship with pain. It's so I guess when you're already in so much pain, it's just like, well, I was having bad headaches, but nothing to scream about. So one day I was out and in a very loud public place, and I had to raise my voice to talk. And when I did that, my optic nerve screamed at me. It was excruciating, to say the least. I couldn't talk. I just had to sit there and hold my head. Feels like something really bad is happening and you need to like call an ambulance. But I knew it was my optic nerve, so nothing I could do about it. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but it's really tough. As soon as I had the MRI, like I was already having trouble walking, but I just went downhill from there. I was walking into walls, no depth perception. If you've been through it, you understand. You lose your depth perception, so you're running into things. You can't drive because you can't see, but if you could drive, you'd be running into cars everywhere. So it's a good thing that we're not on the road. Yeah, I've, gosh, cried so much the last almost about 5 months or so. It's hard. I don't know how anyone else deals with this, but it's really difficult. Particularly because I already had so much I was dealing with the fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue, and it's just one more thing. But what's really interesting to me is I'd read articles about fibromyalgia possibly being a different form of multiple sclerosis, and I mean, well, heck, it led to full-blown multiple sclerosis. So I do wonder if there's a relation, how those two things are connected. It'd be really, really interesting to know more about that. But I haven't been able to just get on the internet and start doing a lot of research, because when you're blind, you can't do that. So, because you have to read things so much slower, if you can even read those things at all. Sometimes you can't. When it's at its worst, absolutely, I could not read. Don't hand me a book. Don't ask me to look at a label in the kitchen. It's just not happening. I could not see. And I still can't see well, but I can see a lot better than I did. And people ask me what it was like. And it's like what I would imagine is being snowblind, because light is blinding. Whether it's light from your TV, from your phone, from outside, looking at cars on the road, I couldn't see the red taillights or the white headlights. It was just nothing. It's so disorienting, and you can't really see the cars either, so they just looked like ghosts. And then people that I would see on the street when I would be in a car, like whether it was my husband or son driving, it was strange watching people cross the road, because I would still think that I was seeing more people at the side of the road and crossing the road, because somehow that gets imprinted. It is this most bizarre thing, and I would think he was running people over. Like, what are you doing? Stop the car! You're gonna kill some people. But no, that wasn't what was happening. yeah, I'd like that explained because it happened all the time. Ghost people, ghost cars, but I knew it was the same people that I saw. So it wasn't like I was seeing new people. It just seemed like they were still there and now crossing again. Really, really strange. So if you've been through it, then you know what I'm talking about. And people would probably tell you, oh my goodness, you're schizophrenic. No, dude, it's a physical issue with your optic nerve, and it's serious. You can stay blind, and I'm fortunate just to have regained the vision that I have regained, because it's the most annoying, most annoying thing. I imagine losing your hearing is really tough too. I would not want to stay blind forever. That going through that was really sad. It was really stressful, and I've had people to see me through it, and but if there are people that are a stress in your life, you have to reduce that. They have to go. So you need to keep people around you that are supportive of your healing journey. Most people aren't. Like, even people that you've known a long time and love, they don't quite understand that any stress is really bad for your condition. And so if I could go back, I would just stay in my room. Don't not leave the house, not talk to people, just say I'm sorry. I will talk to you guys in 6 months when my healing journey is over. I did have the option of having steroids injected 4 days, not all day long, but you go in and they give you steroid treatments. And I've had it before, and it warped my face. So I was like, no. What was explained to me by the by the neuro-ophthalmologist, he said that it would not help me recover more vision. What it would do is get me to heal faster. So basically, I was going to be left with whatever I was left with. So why take something that's going to make you fat and is going to cause your bone density to get worse? It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it to me. The issues that could cause later in life, and that it would cause, and immediately. So I mean, I'm not telling you what to choose, but that for me, what was right was to say no, thank you. I'll just let nature take its course, since the drugs, they're only going to get me there faster. They're not going to actually change the outcome. So discuss that with your doctor. If you're going through this, discuss that with your doctor. And because it's 2 weeks, they say, about 2 weeks, and you're healed. But I chose to wait the 6 months, which, I mean, it's going to bring frustration and sadness, but because you're dealing with it. but mostly what I was dealing with was being diagnosed with MS, and um, that's a hard pill to swallow. You know, if your loved one is going through that, understand. That person just learned that their life is on average going to be about 7 years shorter. So they're looking at their mortality, maybe for the first time. You know, I mean, I'm 45. It's not like I haven't thought about when I'm going to die. Like, people die at my age from heart attacks and strokes, and it's, you know, I'm reaching that age where, yeah, people start to have issues that they die from. But really, you know, 5 years from now is when things really, those are the disease years, I think is what they call them. But this disease isn't, it usually happens to younger people. When it happens at an older age, from what I was told, it's better. The doctor said it's better because, you know, you'll hit, your 50s, and what's it called? You see, it messes with your memory too. Oh, goodness. Menopause. You reach menopause. And when you reach menopause, those hormones, somehow that helps with the illness, with the disease, kind of stops it. So, possibly this is something that will be done for me in the next 10 years, maybe longer. I think the doctor said in your 60s is when it really starts to get a lot better. Yeah. So now, well, I've been on Tecfidera, and I don't know about you guys, what anyone else is taking for it. It's awful. It's awful on your stomach. I hate it. It makes me feel sick. But I had to stop taking it because of, COVID-19 going around. I talked to the pharmacist at Tecfidera, and she told me what to have my family do. You know, have them, when they come home from anywhere, to strip down, throw their clothes in the washer. And she was just talking in general, like because the flu could kill me. I'm like, great. Yeah, if you don't have an immune system, you can't fight back when you have the flu or COVID or, you know, viruses that are bad. Yeah, you have a lot of choices to make. We all have, when we get MS, have a lot of choices to make. And, yeah, I'm just trying to make the right ones for me. And, so Tecfidera had to stop, and I'll pick it back up when COVID-19 seems to go away, or be at least much more under control. I'd like to know if I already have it. My hairdresser just happened to be in China in December, and we saw her when she got back. So I saw her December 23rd, and her family had been sick. And yeah, I'd been so sick that I was having trouble breathing. So we think there's a possibility that we all had it. We were just passing it back and forth, and it took a while to go away. It's been a couple months, but we do think that we had it, and that it just kept coming and going. But my husband, he's been really careful anyway, you know, because just in case, we don't want to pass that on. They don't want to get me sick, and, you know, I have children, I don't want to have it. My youngest son has asthma. I'd rather he not get the disease. So yeah, you gotta be really careful. My husband has been extremely careful. I'm really lucky that he's an ISTJ, which you know what the MBTI personalities are, and they're very meticulous. And he did a lot of research, so not just following the pharmacist's rules that she gave us. He does strip down when he comes in from going to the store, but he also has his hand sanitizer. He does not touch his face. In fact, he was a nail biter. He had to stop doing that so that he wouldn't accidentally touch his face. And yeah, he's got some really long nails now. And yeah, he's gosh, he disinfects everything. When he brings home groceries, we all help disinfect. We wash. Some of us are just constantly washing everything while others are doing their thing, but they're constantly washing things too, and we disinfect everything. Every box of crackers, you name it, whatever's coming in the house, it's getting sanitized. When we get a package delivered by Amazon, that gets sprayed down too. Everything gets sprayed down. We just have to be super careful, which I don't mind at all. But I mean, if it keeps us all safe, it's totally worth it. And so I hope that your families are taking those precautions as well, even as, you know, we're starting to think maybe things will be okay. Well, you know, no, this is about we need more people to get the disease is really what's happening, and, you know, for herd immunity, but that means more people are going to die, but hopefully less people die from this than we thought. And yeah, we'll find out. That would be good news if it's not as bad as we think, but it is highly contagious, so please take precautions. Do not touch your face when you go to the store. You know, if you have a mask, wear a mask. My husband wears a mask. When we had my son go to help him, my 19-year-old son, and he wore a mask. Oh, which reminds me, I don't know if you've all had nerve pain, or what's going on with your nervous system, but my son, he said, okay, well, I've been doing research, and I found this stuff called lion's mane mushrooms, and that will protect your myelin in your brain. And so I said, okay, well, I trust you, and because he's really, really smart, and he's in college too. And I said, okay. And it had this great side effect. Apparently it doesn't just protect your nerves, but it also really helps with nerve pain. So that was a really great side effect. So if you are struggling with nerve pain, I highly recommend that. With fibromyalgia, that's been pretty tough, but yeah, it's a strange combination to have fibromyalgia and then have muscles that are twisting, and it has sometimes felt like I have glass shards in my muscles, and it's just twisting. And pain meds, I mean, my doctor gives me pain meds, and, well, you know, she doubled them, and that didn't do anything. It didn't make a difference. But these mushrooms have made a difference. They are helping me be able to tolerate what I'm going through. Another symptom I get, my toes curl, particularly my right foot. And it's annoying. I don't know if that's happening for you, but it happens for me. And one day I was talking to my friend on the phone, and another strange thing happened. I had already had numbness in my hands and feet, but I started going, that numbness, I could feel it traveling, and it traveled all the way up to the top of my head. And as I'm talking to my friend, I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, I felt it on my face, and I'm like, it's going all the way, and then it stops, and then all my skin has been numb ever since, and I was on Tecfidera. So if it was working and doing its job protecting my myelin, why did something else happen? And it hasn't gone away. It appears to have come to stay. It's a very strange sensation. Pain feels different. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sharp things seem to feel like they might be sharper. And then, but sometimes you can't feel, I don't know how to explain it. Other things that might hurt don't hurt as much, but like poking seems to hurt more. So it's really strange. But yeah, maybe you could tell me about your journey and what's happened to you, because this is what's happening to me, and it's bizarre. And I'd like to think that all these things get better, but I'm worried that, well, maybe I got the bad kind and all this stuff is just here to stay. I'm not walking into walls because my depth perception is much better, but my balance is still pretty bad. It's not as bad, but it's still there. It's still a daily struggle. I can't open things I used to open, like hand me like my Gatorade. I can't open a freaking Gatorade. Some of them are easy, but most of them I can't open. I feel weak. It feels like my hands are weaker, my muscles are weaker. The doctor said grab my finger and squeeze it tight, and he said I was strong, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't feel strong. I don't feel like I'm gripping you well at all. Maybe he's just not listening to me. Maybe he doesn't believe me. I don't know. But when I told him about the numbness, these neuros, they are so full of themselves. He just said, well, this isn't a normal thing for MS, this numbness that you're feeling. You would have to have lesions in this spot and at the same time for your whole body to go numb. How does that make any sense? Okay. I'm like, okay, well, if your myelin is missing on your spinal cord, wouldn't that be reason for this sort of thing to happen? It seems like it would be pretty common. But what do I know? And then I looked it up online, and I asked some women in a group on Facebook, and so many people said, oh yes, yeah, I have that. Different parts of their bodies, but some people had it all over, just like I do. And my doctor said, nope, they're all liars. You can't trust anything that women on the internet say. And I was like, wow. Well, he's the one that told me to go find a support group and to find one online. And then I do, and he tells me that they're all crazy and I can't trust what they're saying. Great, thanks, guy. So you wanted me to go where all the crazy people go. Right. So you could just tell me everything that I'm hearing there is crap. Like, why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. He's a very literal guy too, so we just got really frustrated with him, my husband and I. He's like, his bedside manner is awful. And so he was saying, oh, well, you can always go to another neuro who specializes in MS. And I'm like, that's a good idea. And then he kept bringing it up. I mean, I'd already said yes to it. Does he want my permission again? Like, yes, give me the frickin' referral. And I just got fed up, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna ask my primary care doctor for a referral instead, because I trust her judgment. She did get me into the neuro-ophthalmologist the same day that I got my MS diagnosis. He just had an opening, and she called. She said, I need to get my patient in. It's not good. We really need your help. And so, yeah, I'm grateful that he did step up and take me and help her out, because I needed answers. So I'm glad that I got them. Yeah. So I haven't been able to see a new neuro yet. I guess I have one. But I am not going to a doctor yet. I won't step in a doctor's office. My primary care doctor is going to be doing appointments with me online. She's given me that choice. So if you have that choice, I highly recommend that too, just to be safe. We all have to be really careful right now, because most of us, we're on medications that affect our immune system in some way. And so we must be really careful. And just stay safe. I hope your families are protecting you. And I'm really looking forward to hearing your stories and what's going on with you. So if you happen upon my video, please tell me what you're going